Tupate na ustawi, moja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Madam Roslyn Njogu, Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, and your colleague Aurelia Rono, the Honorable Lydia Haika, Chairperson of the Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers Committee of the National Assembly, the Honorable Major Bashir, Vice Chair of the Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committee of the National Assembly, Your Excellency Bayane Rosam, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps and Ambassador of Eritrea to Kenya, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to join you today for the launch of the State Department for Diaspora Affairs Strategic Plan 2023 to 2027. This strategic plan is particularly important considering that it is the first for the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, which was established in January 2023. I wish to congratulate you, Madam PS, and your team for the hard work and enduring process that has made this achievement possible. The plan we are launching today is informed by the Constitution of Kenya and various policy and legal frameworks that emphasize planning as the basis for budgeting. It reaffirms the government's commitment towards strengthening partnerships with the diaspora, who are a central part of the Kenyan social fabric. The diaspora have and continue to play a major role in the country's socio-economic transformation. Besides remittances, the diaspora is a key source of skills, expertise, and technology transfer that are necessary ingredients for our economic transformation. Through the diaspora, Kenya is able to attract cutting-edge technologies and rare skills that may not be available locally. As a testament to the importance we place on our fast-growing and vibrant diaspora population, Kenya established the State Department for Diaspora Affairs 21 months ago. This has enabled the government to address the specific and peculiar needs of the Kenyan diaspora in different countries and regions. The strategic plan provides a holistic and robust framework for addressing diaspora-related issues with an emphasis on diaspora welfare as opposed to just remittances. Additionally, we have operationalized a 24-hour call center to ensure that our diaspora have access to prompt assistance regardless of where they are in the world. Taking advantage of the ever-growing digital space, we have also onboarded critical services for the diaspora on the eCitizen platform, making it easier for the diaspora to access government services seamlessly at any time from anywhere. We have made other key achievements, including the following: development of the diaspora policy 2024 to respond better to the needs of the diaspora, evacuation of Kenyans from high conflict areas in various parts of the world, including Sudan, Israel, Palestine, and now Lebanon is on the queue. Strengthened dialogue and partnership with the diaspora, creation of an enabling environment for diaspora investments, and developing a global labor market strategy. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans abroad make direct investments locally, providing social support or creating an enabling environment for Kenyan exports. Their contribution is evident in various sectors of the economy, including education, health, housing, agriculture, tourism, and trade. It is worth noting that remittances grew to USD 2.8 billion from January to July 2024. That is just the first 6 months of this year, compared to 2.4 billion during a similar period in 2023. And a closer analysis of the trend over the past 7 months of 2024 points to a projected rise in annual estimates from 4.19 billion in 2023 to 4.8 billion US dollars in 2024, a remarkable 14.6% increase. This exponential growth puts the country on track towards sustaining the remittance target of Kenya shillings 1 trillion annually by the end of the strategic plan period in 2027. The increase in remittances not only enhances investments, but also helps to strengthen Kenya's balance of payments and reduce the Kenya shilling's vulnerability to external pressure. Basically, if for some reason the diaspora turned off the taps, our shilling would take a serious beating against other currencies. The strategic plan places the Kenyan diaspora at the core of government planning and acknowledges their role in enhancing the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and achieving the Kenyan Vision 2030. It also resonates well with various global, regional, and national development frameworks, including the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the African Union Agenda 2063, and the East African Community Vision 2050. Ladies and gentlemen, as the PS has stated, the government emphasizes the protection, engagement, empowerment, and prosperity of our diaspora. We are deliberate about protecting their rights and championing their welfare, creating an enabling environment for diaspora investments, skills, and technology transfer, and fostering a mutually beneficial and lasting relationship. One of the emerging issues affecting the diaspora's well-being is the portability of social benefits, including health and social security benefits. Whereas some diaspora Kenyans are ready to return home, they grapple with their social benefits tied to their host countries. If they leave, they lose the benefits. Perhaps it's time for the State Department to take up the leadership role in a conversation about a framework that will allow the diaspora to move back to their countries of origin comfortably. Facilitation of social benefits portability will allow the diaspora to migrate back safely and in an orderly manner in line with Article 22 of the Global Compact for Migration. Social benefits portability has key advantages, including reducing the cost of remittances and enabling access to mental health services for those returning home. On the cost of remittances, there has been lengthy discussions on the need to decrease costs associated with sending money from members of the diaspora back to their countries of origin. The focus is on the need to limit the cost of remittance to 3% of the value of the money transfer in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 10. Discussions include policies and initiatives that will ensure that fees, charges, and hidden costs that remittance service providers impose are kept at a minimum, thereby maximizing the amount of money that reaches the intended beneficiaries. The remittance costs remain high despite calls for reduction. For the viability of social benefits portability, the transaction costs must be reduced. I therefore encourage all stakeholders to join together in Kenya, regionally and globally, to bring the cost of remittances to the global target. The other issue tied to portability of social benefits is mental health. How, one might ask? This is a domain that has not always received the prominence it deserves, particularly in African societies where mental health remains a stigma and a taboo. We cannot ignore the profound impact that mental health has on the overall well-being and productivity of individuals, including those in the diaspora, more so for those who remain in the host country, not willingly, but because they cannot port their social benefits. Knowing that you can enjoy their social benefits even after returning home will definitely give the diaspora the peace of mind to continue working, confident that should the time come to go back home, they will be able to do so in a humane, safe, and regular manner, and they will be cushioned. I therefore task the State Department of Diaspora Affairs to lead this conversation and to forge partnerships with countries that have a similar persuasion to negotiate for social benefits portability. The successful implementation of this strategic plan calls for concerned efforts and sound leadership, as well as effective monitoring and evaluation of results. Towards this end, my office commits to do the following: enhance diaspora trust and confidence by championing their welfare and protecting their rights, enhance the diaspora contribution to GDP growth through higher remittances, spearhead initiatives aimed at positioning Kenya as a global leader in skilled labor export, deepen collaboration and strategic partnerships with the diaspora, and also strengthen the policy, legal, and institutional framework underpinning diaspora affairs. I have no doubt that the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, supported by the parent Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, has the requisite capacity for effective implementation of this strategic plan. All stakeholders and partners present will in one way or the other contribute to effective delivery of its implementation and outcomes. We look forward to building a vibrant community that will support the government's agenda for deepening the contribution of the diaspora to Kenya's socio-economic transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just have an extra 2 or 3 minutes to emphasize one or two things. First, I really want to appreciate our colleagues from various countries and institutions for joining us here. This is very, very significant. In fact, I'm pleasantly surprised that the representation is this broad. Thank you for being here. It calls for us to share experiences, learn from each other, and focus on the areas that we can jointly target, as I have indicated in my remarks, to improve the whole environment around the diaspora, because we all have them. You have them, we have them. The globe is such that there's a lot of mobility amongst the human society. So we need to work together and improve on the various environments that we encounter. The second thing I may just want to touch on is something perhaps closer to home. Let me start with the bonds. I had an opportunity earlier, because we are beginning to work on a little more closely on the diaspora bond. I went to MIGA. This is one of the World Bank agencies, the multilateral investment guarantee agency of the World Bank. And we got talking, and they said that a more recent bond that they have is India. India has a very, very broad diaspora. And they floated a diaspora bond, and they were able to get over $5 billion from the diaspora. And in fact, they had to terminate at some point because it was really oversubscribed. And they could do a lot of things with that. So we want to be able to now actualize a Kenyan diaspora bond. Because according to the data that MEGA have, and according to the statistics I've given you, the Kenyan diaspora is now ripe, because the quantum, the resources available, can now justify a diaspora bond. And this can go either into infrastructure, perhaps the debate we are having around how to develop Jomo Kenyatta Airport and expand it. This could be a candidate where we can mobilize diaspora resources to partner with other private sector resources and actually fund this piece of infrastructure. We could do the same, perhaps for key artery roads like the Mau Summit to Malaba border. We can raise infrastructure bonds and direct resources to this area. So let us broaden our engagement and our conversation, because for those who have had the opportunity to travel a lot and see the exposure, let us not continue living in a fool's paradise in Kenya. The truth is that if you went to West Africa today, whether you're landing in Ghana or you're landing in Togo, or you went to Addis, or you went to Rwanda, ladies and gentlemen, their airports have overtaken Jomo Kenyatta Airport. We are spending too much time, and yet others are running. This is just one message that I want to really put into this debate. The numbers aside, but the fact is that we now must invest in a new airport. So we can deal with the numbers, we can deal with the debate, we can have those arguments, but let's not lose focus that we need to actually upgrade our facilities. The other thing that I may want to quickly share with you is that a few days ago, we left the New York conferences and I took a trip to West Virginia at the invitation of some Kenyans, doctors actually, medical experts. And we went to West Virginia, Morgantown, where they have partnered with the University of West Virginia. These Kenyans, with their enterprise called Unigen, have taken over a pharmaceutical setup in West Virginia. And through their expertise, they have started producing a pharmaceutical product for sickle cell disease, which is soluble, so that a baby of 9 months old or 5 years or whatever can now have access to sickle cell disease medication, which is very expensive, and it's a big killer in this part of the world as well for young people. They rarely go beyond 5 years. Now, these Kenyans have actually invested, and then they have used their brain power, and they have produced this medicine. Amazing. There is a Dr. Charles Otieno. There is a Dr. Wycliffe. There's from Kisii. There's another doctor who is also very well schooled in matters of drug administration, working with the Federal Drug Agency. And they all came together with others. And they're also partnering, I saw, with people from Zimbabwe and other African countries, and they have put this consortium together. And they're now producing medicine, which is going to be on the shelves of Kenya by Kenyans in the United States, bringing it here for the region to help people. So it is real that this is now a very critical constituency. We cannot afford to ignore it. Let me touch on another one. What about the diasporans who are involved in peacekeeping? When I went to Namibia, they remember with a lot of fond memories General Opande, because he led the peacekeeping effort there, and he was able to assist them transit from the colonial dilemma of Southern Africa and then through to the election. Now they are independent. And in Namibia, there are a lot of doctors, there are a lot of Kenyans who are helping set up medical schools, medical departments in their universities. Today, we have Kenyans in Haiti. For as long as they are there, they're in the diaspora. They're keeping peace. We have Kenyans, part of the ATMIS in Somalia, working with the Sudanese government, Somalian government. They are there to keep peace. Don't forget, these are Kenyans in the diaspora. So there are multiple angles to what Kenyans in the diaspora can do, working with the rest of the international community. And this is why I just want to emphasize that this is an area that we need to spotlight. And that is why P.S. Njogu was telling you that we want to move a notch higher. We want to make sure that Kenya's foreign policy and diaspora policy does not remain a document which is the preserve of the executive. No, we want Kenyans to own this. We want Kenyans to participate in having a say in where we go. And this is why, for the first time, we are on the road to make sure that for the first time, Kenya's parliament will actually debate a sessional paper covering Kenya's foreign policy and the diaspora policy, so that they can be engaged, they can be involved. We were amazed, but pleasantly so, although it was a rude shock, when the diaspora, the Gen Z were in town, and they said they don't know why a president travels out of the country. That is a very serious statement as to where we have been with our foreign policy, with our engagements. Because the young people want to know, what do you do? Do you just board a plane and disappear? What is it? What is there for the Kenyans in all these foreign and diplomatic engagements? We must answer that question. And to answer that question, it is time the Parliament engaged fully with our foreign policy. What is it all about? What is it all about? Does it get us to incur more debt, or does it help us settle debt? Is it giving us an opportunity to bring in foreign direct investment, or are we chasing away foreign direct investment? What are we doing? Now, these are fundamental questions that must be answered and must be owned by the people of Kenya. And Parliament is the institution that represents the people of Kenya. And therefore, that discourse must be there. And in the process, we shall have broader ownership and understanding of where we want to go as a nation today and in the future, and how to grow our investments. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I should share those few remarks with you. And it is now my pleasant duty to officially launch the strategic plan. Thank you.
3, 2, 1. Please have the copies for the PCS to present the copies. Okay, photo please. Thank you. Could we please request the diplomatic corps to join us down here such that we have one group photograph? Yes. Thank you very much. Excellency, I'll request you please take your seats for the vote of thanks. The photograph with the staff of the State Department for Diaspora Affairs will be taken outside.